Hi, this is Zichun, writer-director of Children of Invention. I am back with another video blog. This one is going to be a little bit longer. I got a couple emails asking about how I was able to get this feature film financed and also about my background in the industry. And so I want to give kind of a longer explanation because I feel like sometimes when you hear about how people were able to get their movies made, you hear kind of like the Cliff Notes version, which I never find as helpful as hearing all the little steps that it took to get a project off the ground. So today it's going to be a little bit longer, and I'm going to go back a little bit in history and talk a little bit about why this project was able to come together, and a little bit about my background. My background is that I kind of always wanted to make films, even in high school, and I was lucky enough to have a video editing deck in my high school basement, so I used that, editing every night. And when I went to Columbia undergrad, I knew that I wanted to do film studies. There's no film production component of that course, so what I did was I just supplemented that education with my own projects. Like I made a feature film in undergrad, and I made an hour-long short, and I made a very, very short film, and I also tried to get like a under $1 million feature film finance, which was a total disaster, and that never happened. But when I came out of undergrad, I knew that I wanted to make films still, and I didn't want to go to grad school. I don't know if you guys know this, but grad school for film can be very expensive. It can be $90,000 to $120,000 for 3 to 5 years, and I didn't really want to spend that money, and I didn't really have that money to spend. And so I just kind of made a schedule for myself. During the first 3 years out of college, I painted portraits for people on commission, and I did kind of random videography and DVD creation at a time where not everybody knew how to do that. And I made a schedule that I was going to write and direct a no-budget short film every 6 months, and then write a feature film every 9 months. And it took 11 short films. I roped all of my friends into helping me. Most of these films had a budget of under $1,000, sometimes like $600. And it was the 11th short film, Window Breaker, that eventually got into Sundance. And the other ones, some of them were good, some of them were not very good. And I think that's kind of how that goes when you make that many short films. But it felt important to me to practice and to try to get comfortable with all the tools and to be directing a huge crew in addition to the actors. But Window Breaker, I made my 11th short film, was made for $600, and it eventually cost me another $1,200 to step it up to HD to project at Sundance. But we had gone to 5 or 6 festivals with just that $600 budget, and we shot over 2 weekends in my childhood home. My mom is in it, and it kind of not only was it the first thing that got me any kind of notice in the film industry, but also it taught me that you didn't necessarily need a huge budget to tell a story that people could connect with. And that's kind of how I approached Children of Invention when I was writing the script, that I was going to write something that I could shoot for relatively cheaply, but had a heartfelt story that I hoped that people could connect with. That being said, it did take another 2 years. It did take another year and a half for me to make that film. In the meantime, I did a lot of different things. I wrote for TV for a show called Cashmere Mafia. I moved out to LA to do that. And I participated in 2 film finance markets, which was pretty important for the project. I participated in Tribeca All Access, which was actually not with my project, but a project that Sheila Dvorak wrote. And that's called Artificial Dissemination. And for those of you who don't know, if you're a filmmaker who's just starting out, or even if you've had a couple credits under your belt, it's a really great program. It's run by the Tribeca Film Institute, and they set up roundtable meetings. Kind of like speed date meetings with you and to pitch your project to industry people. And so you'll have like 15 to 20 meetings over the course of 2 or 3 days. And it was pretty invaluable to kind of meet people and learn to pitch. The second thing I did was IFP's No Borders International Co-Finance Market. I did that with my first script that I wrote after Sundance in 2007 called You're a Big Girl Now. And it was at IFP that I didn't get that project financed, and but I did meet Dan Kogan there. Dan Kogan was worked for a film fund called Impact Partners. They're a documentary film fund, and Children of Invention actually was their first feature narrative. But I kept in touch with him, and we really got along. And he was the first person after I wrote Children of Invention that he was really one of two people that I sent the script to. I actually just sent him the script to get his recommendation for the Sundance Lab. And he called me back a couple weeks later and said, I think I can get you money to shoot this. And I immediately called my friend Trevor Sagan, who a couple years earlier had told me that he had started a film fund out of San Francisco. And the two of them co-financed that film. I wrote the script during the writer's strike, so I was on leave from my TV show. And I wrote it. First draft was done in March. Brought Manette Louie on in April 1st, when it looked like the financing was coming through, and we were shooting by July. And I know that seems really, really fast, but it was kind of the culmination of all these other things that I had been working towards in the years before, such as, making sure that I had that perfect short film that I could show to people and would hopefully inspire confidence to financiers, and also to have a couple samples, like my feature script, You're a Big Girl Now, even though it didn't get financed, and we're still, Manette Louie is actually attached to that project now to try to bring it to investors. Even though it didn't get financed at IFP, I still met Dan and a bunch of other people who read the script and liked it, and were very helpful to get Children of Invention off the ground. Production of this movie, it was a low budget, under $1 million. It was shot relatively quickly, 25 days, and we were editing while we were shooting because we knew that we wanted to hit the Sundance deadline for that year. So we were shooting July and August, and we were editing at this time. Anna Bowden, who co-wrote, co-directed, produced, and edited Half Nelson and Sugar. She was our editor. Actually, when I was, she also edited Window Breaker. When I was, when they were doing Half Nelson, we did a trade. I painted the poster for Half Nelson, and she edited Window Breaker, which is how I got her for that. But yeah, it was a really compressed timeline, but we were really happy that it worked out in the end. So, yep, that's kind of everything that I can think of. Sorry about the long post. I hope that it was helpful. If you guys have any other questions, definitely please message me or post in the comment section. All right, thank you.